Isn't it amazing how time spent with a friend can make you happy? But researchers are becoming more and more alarmed by a certain trend. People are disconnecting from each other socially. In 1985, on average, each of us had 3 people in whom we could confide important matters. But by 2004, only 2. And today, research indicates that 25% of Americans have no one to confide in. Isn't it sad to realize that 1 out of every 4 people you meet is socially isolated? And this social isolation is associated with a host of emotional and physical illnesses. In general, people tend to engage in destructive behaviors such as alcoholism, smoking, and overeating to help cope with their loneliness. We all need friends, because the only thing in life that really matters is our loving relationships. Friends, family, even pets. Say hello to one of my buddies, Oreo. Speaking of which, do you have a buddy? And I'm not just talking about a pet. Someone with whom you're close to and can confide in. Someone who loves you and wants to help you. If your answer is yes, then you just may have a 3 to 5 times lower risk of premature death and disease. We need friends. And today we'll see and hear compelling research on the subject. So let's join Dr. Winnie King and discover some fascinating information on interpersonal relationships. What do you think, buddy? Oreo says yes.
There are people in my life who just make me smile whenever I think of them. They lift me up and make my life better. Then on the other hand, there are people who, well, you know those kind of people. It's an undeniable fact that good interpersonal relationships improve our life. Dr. Dean Ornish writes this about friendships. I'm not aware of any other factor in medicine, not diet, not smoking, not exercise, not stress, not genetics, not drugs, not surgery, that has a greater impact on our quality of life, incidence of illness, and premature death from all causes. President Abraham Lincoln was known to have said, "The better part of one's life consists of his friendships." Well, sometimes we wonder how this can be true, especially during the cold and flu season. But consider this counterintuitive study. Volunteers were given nasal drops that contained the common cold virus, and, as you would expect, most of them became infected. But those with the most friends were less likely to develop cold symptoms. Social connection and interpersonal relationships foster good health and happiness, meaning friends equates with better health. A wise creator designed us to flourish within an environment of mutually caring relationships. And believe it or not, this begins when we're still in the womb. In a review of 144 fetal studies, we concluded that social support from a partner or a family member is associated with improved fetal growth regardless of a woman's level of acute stressors. In other studies, we found that the presence of a supportive companion during labor and delivery reduced the need for cesarean section and other interventions. In fact, in the control group in which delivering mothers had a supportive companion, the duration of the delivery was only 8.7 hours compared to 19.3 hours for those who didn't have a companion. Healthy relationships are essential to healthy children as well. In looking at more than 100 studies, we've seen that the most resilient children tended to have good social skills, support from mentors or peers, connection to family, and a loving relationship with a caregiver. There's a growing body of research on interconnectedness and adolescence. In 1997, data was collected from 90,000 teens and 18,000 of their parents across the United States. They found that kids who feel connected to family, church, school, and their community are far less likely to participate in behaviors that put them at risk. The standout theme revealed in this research? Connectedness. As you might guess, the connectedness we experience in our younger years also impacts us in our later years. Family relationships are the earliest and most influential as it relates to our health. In one study, adults were asked to describe what kind of mother and father they had. 95% of those who used few positive words and who also rated their parents poorly in caring had diseases diagnosed in midlife. But of the adults who used many positive words and who rated their parents high in parental caring, only 29% were diagnosed with midlife diseases. Interpersonal relationships, a connection to others, improves our quality of life. We also see this in marriage. Many studies show that married people live longer, and they have lower mortality for almost every major cause of death compared with people who are single, separated, widowed, or divorced. Wives who say their marriage is satisfying and supportive have stronger immune systems. They have a higher percentage of T cells and more helper lymphocytes, as well as less depression and loneliness. One interesting study posed this question: does your wife show she loves you? Those who answered yes showed a reduced risk of angina, which is chest pain related to narrowing of the coronary arteries, even in the presence of other high-risk factors. In the longest continuous study in the world on aging, we found that a warm relationship with our spouse is an excellent predictor of aging well. From before we are born and continuing throughout our lifetime, interconnectedness makes us stronger, healthier, and happier. Friendship is vital at any age. Active seniors in retirement homes who were visited 3 times a week showed increased immune function within just a month. It's the social contact that creates life-enhancing results. In a study involving female breast cancer survivors, women who participated in a weekly support group lived 2 times longer than women who didn't participate in a group. Men who were socially isolated and under high stress had more than 4 times the risk of dying from heart disease. Positive social interaction and interpersonal connections promote longevity, improve the quality of our life, and make us happier. I'm sure you're getting the picture, but did you know there is healing in loving touch? People who touch and are touched enjoy the best health. And it doesn't have to be dramatic to make a positive impression. In one study, as students left a university library, they were asked how satisfied they were with the service they had received. They didn't know that the study wasn't about the quality of library service at all. It was about the effect of touch. The library clerk was instructed to touch half the students very lightly when returning their library cards to them. The students who had been touched had a much higher opinion of the service they received at the library. But it isn't just human touch that affects us positively. Believe it or not, the loving, affectionate touch of our pets impacts our health positively too. A year after having been admitted to the hospital for chest pain or a heart attack, only 6% of the pet owners had died, compared to 28% of the patients who didn't have pets. And this was independent of disease severity. Touch will heal your soul. Social connection will relax your mind. Supportive interpersonal relationships will enhance and restore your life.
God wants us to enjoy life and be happy. And we enjoy life most when we're connected and interacting with others. But positive interpersonal relationships don't just improve our lives, they make life worth living. Here are 4 ways you can start improving your interpersonal relationships to enrich your life and better your health. First, simply just reach out. Most people are just as shy as we are. Do what I try to do, push through the shyness and connect anyway. People are eager to make new friends. Many of them are just waiting for someone to make the first move, to initiate first contact. Be that person. Reach out. Trust me, it's worth it. It's as simple as saying, "Hi, my name is Nancy." Consider making it a goal right now to warmly greet at least one new person every day. Smile at them, and guess what? I bet they'll smile back. And it'll warm your heart a little bit. Savor the moment. Next, mingle with people. Get out there and enjoy being part of a group. Be involved with life. Be more of a participant and less of a spectator. Interact, connect, and remember to go have fun with your friends. The third one is volunteer. Volunteers report experiencing what they call a helper's high. It makes them feel good. And lastly, accept people unconditionally, just as we want to be accepted. Embrace them, love them without an agenda. Life is tough enough. Just be their friend. Be grateful for their companionship and never take them for granted, because life becomes joyful, meaningful, and thoroughly satisfying when we share it. That's creation health.